we haven't seen that much of a change in sentiment or our underlying businesses. Our bulks continue to be strong. We're running at capacity, getting pretty good prices. LME metals, it's depending on which particular subsectors it's getting in. And I think that some of the industrial minerals that may go to small, medium-sized companies may be seeing some reorders, but again, it's probably minor in the scheme of things. So what we've been seeing in our business would be that the general economy's going okay.
That might be surprising to some because there's a pretty gloomy mood out there.
I think that my sense is that the expectations are actually more gloomy than what's taking place on the ground. Corporates are doing pretty well. We are seeing, unfortunately, a jobless recovery in the United States. We're seeing a lot of need for some policy leadership in the United States, and that may be leading that policy move. I live in the UK myself, and so I'm really watching what's going on in Europe as the world would be, and I think that the risks and the questions around Greece, the questions about contagion beyond Greece, are probably having a further dampening in sentiment. So I guess from what I'm seeing is the markets, the actual real economy's probably doing better than the financial markets are worrying about. And I would just hope that the leaders, particularly in Europe, who are dealing immediately with the debt crisis in Greece, recognize that they can actually themselves influence the expectations. If everyone gets in a poor mood, everyone decides to stop spending, everyone decides to stop investing because they're in a sore mood of Greece, we will see it become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the real economy will again weaken in that case. We haven't seen this so far, and I just hope as leaders around the world recognize it's up to them to pick things up, pick the mood up, create some solutions, not just pick out the problems, and show some leadership.
Show some leadership. Larry Summers mentioned earlier in a panel, have a plan, not just have a plan to have a plan.
Exactly. Plans for a plan don't work in business.
I know you've said in the past that you believe that China can engineer a soft landing, but the bearish case on China is being voiced more and more. There's talk of shadow lending, there's talk of local governments' debt being out of control, and that perhaps there are many bubbles forming there.
Yeah, we've been watching all these signs, and again, I think what we've seen over the past 5 years is that China continues to climb a wall of worry. It continues to see concerns, but it grows past those concerns. And I think from a senior level, in terms of some of the debt issues, non-performing loan, they've been actually managed pretty well over the past several years. Of course, as China continues to grow at such an extraordinary rate, you're seeing imbalances. You're seeing some sectors that are overbuilt, some sectors that haven't caught up, but we're also seeing, as long as they continue to be somewhat self-regulating, as long as the pace of urbanization continues, where vacant housing actually becomes occupied in a relatively short period of time, we would hope to see that the slowdown in GDP is actually quite measured, and it's actually quite managed. And so far, that's exactly what we've been seeing. And I think to some extent the most concerning parts of the Chinese economy are because of quite deliberate and voluntary tightening of money supply to hold back inflation. So again, there are some fiscal tools in the hands of the authorities that actually other countries in the world don't have the benefit of. And what we would hope to see is that as the rest of the world sorts itself out, the Chinese economy basically can continue to moderate, and it will slow down, but it's going to slow down from a very large size. And for us, that's just enough business for Rio Tinto.